weeks ago, I had an idea based on a friend of mine who, whenever we go out to a seafood restaurant, is always excited when they have fish tacos. Well, I didn't make fish tacos, but I made a fish pita a few weeks ago, which were really good, so now I have to do it again on camera. And I'm looking at you, and the camera looks crooked, so I'm going to go check. Anyway, it isn't going to be like a taco because, and I don't think hers that she orders are really like tacos because I don't see any cheddar cheese, sour cream, or salsa when she gets them. Anyway, I'm using a light white fish, tilapia. It's a great fish. It doesn't have omega-3s, which you get in your salmon. It was frozen and I thawed it in this bag because you know you're not supposed to thaw it out in the bag that it comes in, and I thawed it out in my refrigerator. And I'm going to cut it up on this board and I'm going to slice up some onion. And I'm going to saute it, I guess is the right word, in this pan with a little non-fat spray. So I'm going to cut it up, cut up the onion, cook the fish. It won't take very long at all. And touch the raw fish, now I need to wash my hands. I'm going to put it on a half of a Joseph's Pita Bread. I'm going to stuff my pita bread with this fish and onions. If you haven't seen them before, Joseph's Pita Bread, a whole loaf, has 60 calories. I don't think you can find a pita bread with less. And it's made with good ingredients. So I'll toast it, I'll cut it in half and toast it in my toaster oven. Not too much, because then you won't be able to get it open and get your food inside. I happen to have had, well, I have a ton of vegetables in the freezer, but butternut squash and Brussels sprouts are what I pulled out. So though I freeze in plastic, I never microwave it unless it says microwavable. And lastly, I've seasoned my fish with Old Bay low sodium blend. And that's really enough, but if you want to put some kind of condiment on it, I use one of the white colored, white based Walden Farms dressing. This one's actually the coleslaw dressing, but ranch, Caesar, and just a tiny little line of it. You don't need much, just to bring out some flavor. So really, that's it. And then of course I'll have my little dish of fruit, maybe strawberries today. I want it to be colorful, so I didn't cut any of this up, and my pan's probably going to be too hot because I've been talking to you, so I'm going to turn it down. And I'll probably do a little simmer frying here. You have to be careful that the fish and stuff doesn't stick to the pan because I'm not using oil. There are plenty of healthy oils that you can use. I just prefer to use them raw and pour them over my food after, just a little, like a teaspoon, over my food after I cook it, then to cooking it and destroy some of the health-promoting properties. What was I going to tell you something else? Maybe the other thing I was going to tell you is, I mentioned that the fish was frozen. Fresh fish that's immediately frozen is, as far as I understand, just as healthy or good for you or safe as fish that's fresh caught and purchased and cooked right away. What isn't as good is if you go to the grocery store and, like in the seafood department, they have fish and shellfish and such on display on the ice. If it says previously frozen, that's worse than just going and getting something frozen fresh out of the freezer department. I hope that makes sense, because it's been frozen already. And then they put it on the counter, and then you need to go home and use it right away. You don't want to freeze it again. So it's better just to keep it frozen if that's the case. Unless we're having some really good salmon. Make sure I wash this stuff. All that stuff you hear about food safety, I don't want to role model something unsafe. So you have to be careful about not contaminating your cutting surfaces. So this is really almost done. I'm turning the pieces of fish over now. And I need to get the rest of the stuff ready. So I'm going to turn the camera off and plate up my vegetables and warm them up and toast my pita bread. And I will show you this when it's done. Maybe I'll walk the camera over here and show you this, which looks like it might benefit from some simmer frying. I don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. So that'll be done in just a couple minutes. And there it is. In case you didn't see it very well, here's the pita bread. What does it say? It doesn't say Joseph anywhere. Joseph. Okay, yay. It's shaping up to be just as good as the first time I had it, I think. Heated up my vegetables, toasted my bread, and my Brussels sprouts, I roasted them with curry powder and cayenne pepper, and they smell really good. My butternut squash just has a little bit of cinnamon on it. And here's my half of pita bread. I burn these a lot and end up just having to use a fork and knife sometimes instead of picking it up. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I used a very small piece of tilapia, probably close to 3 ounces or maybe a little less, because I was going to put it in this bread. If I were having just a fillet of tilapia as an entree, I would have went for the 4-ounce size. Just thought I would share that with you. Don't break. So the Joseph's pita bread, should have done this off camera, are lower in calories than some of the other ones because they're thinner, which is fine. You don't need them to be very thick, but their thinness makes them delicate. So just be mindful of that when you're working with them. Some onions left in here. And as I said before, I've got a little bit of my Walden's dressing here. Of course, when I buy it, as soon as I use a little bit of it, I add some water so it's even thinner and lasts longer. It's very expensive stuff. So, you can put a little bit, I made it so thin that it came out too fast, but that's plenty. You don't have to use anything, or you could use something else. Okay, so there it is. Yum. I'll show it to you up close, even though... Oh, can you hear the cicadas in the background? Okay, well, this has about 160 or 70 calories. Lots of nutrients. I don't think there's anything bad in this meal except maybe the chocolate sauce on my strawberries because it has Splenda in it.